All right, here we go. Game number 2 in a best of 3 featuring ManaTapThat and East Coast Feeders for playoff week 3. Daily 8 on Infernal Shrines. I would typically ask Mystic what his favorite ban here is. I was going to say you have to ban Zarya at this point if you're East Coast Feeders, and they do not disappoint. Zarya getting banned immediately. So, yeah. Not surprised there. Typically, I would see the Shielders banned anyway. But yeah, that immediate Zarya ban, that's both a respect ban and a, yeah, we're not dealing with shields anymore ban. So, not surprised at all in that ban. All right. And an Anubarak ban. Okay. ManaTapThat with something else in mind. Maybe they're going some serious spell damage here. And it's like, you know what? We don't want your beetles stopping us from hitting you with our skills. So, in the Anubarak ban, almost immediately. That's interesting. I feel like that might have been a little early, but maybe not. I have no idea what ManaTapThat's going to do with their draft here, so maybe that made sense. Only one way to find out, and that's to see the draft the rest of the way through. Time being taken. Oh, there it is. All right, so East Coast Feeders happy with the Lucio pick the first time around and takes that again. And we get Gul'dan Ariel, the probably best feeder into Ariel that you can have. Gul'dan super strong in this map since he can clear skeletal defenders as well as waves super quickly. I would not be surprised to also see a Vala coming out right after that. If Vala is still allowed to be picked up or not, that's a different question. All right, there's the Vala, and there's the Tassadar pickup for East Coast Feeders. Both solid pickups. Tassadar gives Vala a ton of value and vice versa. So, if you're going to go Tass and you can get the Vala in the same pick slot, definitely do so. I fully support that decision. Oh, and there's the Tychus ban. And you know what? I'm going to have to go ahead and agree with John the Wise. I, too, see a Cho'Gall incoming until it's banned. Psych! Oh, why? East Coast Feeders, why? I wanted to cast the Cho'Gall game tonight. Why? That's going to seriously put a hindrance on a draft. Now, with Gul'dan Ariel picked, though, you can go a lot of ways with this. You can still do a normal comp with this and still be okay. You just have to adjust your thinking. And in my experience with my team that I played with and with other teams, this is the point where sometimes teams break. If you can't adjust your draft after somebody realizes what you're doing and bans like a key component of that draft, you're gonna be in trouble. You're gonna hurt in a bad way. So it's important for ManaTapThat to recover well here, and I think going Sonya Arthas allows them to do that. Sonya can solo lane. Arthas is a solid tank. Sonya can also be left on the shrines alone and just say, hey, Sonya, clear that shrine. We're going to go push this. We're going to go get this camp. We're going to go do XYZ. And Sonya can clear that camp very effectively solo. Where looking over at the side of East Coast Feeders, while Vala can do an okay job clearing the camp solo, she can't Sonya clear the camp solo. So they need to look at possibly getting their own solo camp clear, or they could be in a bad position at the point that East Coast Feeder, or at that ManaTapThat is not on the shrine and they want to push somewhere else. So a strong solo laner here is almost crucial for East Coast Feeders. Alright, so Dahaka fills that solo lane, and Diablo has all sorts of little places to bounce people off and stun them. So, I actually like both of those picks. What? Okay. Alright, Gazlo coming out to play. I was sold on everything until that point. I guess Gazlo, maybe we'll see a 1-3-1 coming out of ManaTapThat, where they'll leave Gazlo in one lane, they'll put Sonya in the other, and then Arthas, Ariel, and Gul'dan will be the 3. Okay. I was not expecting that, but that's okay. That's why we finished the draft, so that we can see what other teams are going to do. Here we go. For the red team, on East Coast feeders, we have Rue on the Vala, Titch on the Diablo, Dahaka being played by Teehee Tyler, Cherry Buster on the Lucio, and Ace of Swords on the Tassadar. And for the blue team, ManaTapThat with a 1-0 lead right now. We have Ninja Tweets on the Sonya, Logic on the Gazlo, Super Boss Guy on the Arthas, Gildrick on the Gul'dan, and Liliana on the Ariel. This should be interesting. I was at the point where I thought ManaTapThat had won the draft just in a vacuum, skill being completely ignored. I think they had the better draft until the Gazlo. Now I'm not sure. We'll have to see how this goes.
10 seconds.
And what they end up doing. How they split. How they split will tell who wins this game. So here we go. Both teams coming out 5-on-5 in the middle. Little bit of pokey, little bit of proddy. Gazlo dropping a turret or two. I don't expect much to really crazy happen this early. Sonya diving in with her spin and doing, between her and Arthas, doing a ton of damage to those little minions. And now we see the split. Sonya going top lane. Nope. Gazlo going top lane. Ariel, Gul'dan rotating with him. Arthas going bottom lane solo. No, alright. So here we go. Arthas versus Dahaka bottom lane. I kind of like that decision. I think that'll work out best for Arthas versus Dahaka. And then we have Sonya, Ariel, Gul'dan in the mid lane. Also like that decision. And then we'll have Gazlo, Tassadar in the top lane. And what I like most is all of ManaTapThat can rotate down if they want to and try to catch Dahaka here like they just did, putting out a ton of damage. Not able to kill him, but able to put out a ton of damage. And it looks like Gazlo might be on the receiving end of a similar thing, with East Coast feeders rotating up. Dahaka diving in, grabbing that Gazlo, and a ton of damage coming out. Gazlo will go down first to East Coast feeders. But all of East Coast feeders rotated up and is looking to do the same. Return the favor. Diablo taking a ton of damage. Ooh, so low, as well as Lucio and Vala, but nobody dying there. Dahaka is still getting the soak bottom lane the whole time. East Coast feeders are going to have a slight lead in experience. But now we see the power of Sonya coming in, starting the shrine, and immediately just killing off the skeletal defenders. Arthas has rotated top lane. Gazlo is mid lane, setting up his turrets, doing his soak thing. And Sonya and the rest of ManaTapThat is facing now a 4v5, but a 3v5 on the shrine. Still maintaining their lead, though, with Sonya just going in deep while spinning, getting a ton of value out of those skeletal defenders and her heals. And now we have a full 5-on-5. Sonya again in deep, but getting stunned out, taking a bunch of damage, not able to go down. Diablo, on the other hand, is going to go down here. Ariel really low, trying to escape and stay alive. Lots of damage coming out from both teams, but it looks like the edge will be ManaTapThat with a Punisher looking to bust through this bottom wall. Gazlo already rotating back up top lane. And Punisher baited over quite quickly. This is going to be just the wall for ManaTapThat if they can even finish that off. One cannon's down, the wall is down, but the second cannon may have to be left here. No! ManaTapThat able to grab that second cannon and secure the entire bottom wall. And now we come to the point in time. Ooh, Gazlo did die up top to Diablo. Probably Diablo plus the cannon towers, but he died. Now we come to the camp portion of the match. Everybody's going to rotate around and grab as many camps as they can to try and put pressure on the other team and soak XP at the same time. Gul'dan throwing out a little bit of damage onto the Haka. The rest of 3 members of ManaTapThat looking to get Vala and pick her off here. This may actually work. She's getting really low, but she may be far enough ahead. No shields and all, not quite enough to keep her alive. 4-on-1. Dahaka taking a bit of damage now as well. Diablo coming down to help. So it'll be a 4-on-4 because Vala's dead. In that mid lane. 4-on-3. Dahaka staying bottom lane. Ooh, Sonya getting pulled over the wall. But her team able to pull the wall down fast enough to allow her to spin on her way out, healing herself and getting out of danger. Back to a 3-on-3 mid lane. Tassar versus Gazlo top lane, and Dahaka versus Sonya bottom lane. This is actually a good split. I enjoy how actually both teams are set up right now. Lucio with Diablo and Vala should give them some value. Tassar against Gazlo is as good as you could get. And Sonya versus Dahaka is the fight you probably want down there. We do have East Coast feeders grabbing their fallen shaman camp up top. A little bit late, but grabbing it right now. Arth is sniffing it out, going in and trying to challenge that. Not going to be able to get in there in time. That camp is going to go over to East Coast feeders, which is probably a good thing. It is their camp. Gazlo already set up on the shrine. Turrets down. Damage coming out. Sonya diving in now as well. And that's going to be a quick lead going over to ManaTapThat on the shrine. Most of ManaTapThat, in fact, all of ManaTapThat now backing out. Clearing this fallen shaman camp that was pushing top lane. And then engaging against East Coast feeders. It is 8-on-8, so there is no tier advantage or health advantage. 9 just around the corner. But again, nothing that's huge and going to make a big difference. Lots of damage going out, though. Diablo really low. Tassar low. Dahaka's alright. Vala's alright. Ooh, a lot of damage coming out onto that Lucio. Vala pumping out numbers onto Sonya, but we do have another pause. Let's see what's going on this time around. We do have Gazlo dropping that time. And we will give them a minute to get back into the game, and then we'll jump right back in. Just checking out talents real quick while we wait. Diablo went Speed Demon on level 4. It's interesting. We don't usually see that. Being stunned or root increases Diablo's movement speed by 30 for 5 seconds. I guess he expects to get hit a lot by Arthas's root or Sonya's stun, which makes sense. We do have Steam Fist from Gazlo, which is what I would expect. Alright, looks like everybody's ready. So here we go. And that's going to be Vala going down quickly. Lots of damage coming out, but I don't think that Arthas is going to quite get away. Oh, maybe he does as Vala goes down. Wait, oh. It keeps saying Vala on my screen. Dahaka, Vala, and Diablo have gone down. Let's see if I can't fix that. Alright, so we do have Arcane Punisher pushing top. Out comes the Syndragosa, allowing that Punisher to wreak Havoc. And this should be a fort going down. It is an arcane Punisher, the strongest of all Punishers. And with that health being so high on this Punisher, I would not be surprised to see the entire keep wall and possibly part of the keep. First stun coming out. The wall just now coming down so that ManaTapThat can engage under this keep if they so desire. And they are moving in, looking to get some kills here. Diablo getting really low. He might go down. Oh, no. Big heal. Yep. Diablo's going to go down. Dahaka really low as well. Vala is already down, and that's going to be a keep going out to ManaTapThat. All right, so we do have ManaTapThat pushing in and stealing East Coast Feeder's Impaler camp here. And between Sonya and Gazlo, Sonya and Gul'dan zoning, that is going to push the rest of East Coast Feeders away long enough for them to secure that camp. Taking now the possibly the bottom camp. Nope, looks like ManaTapThat's just going to push in, possibly go fort here. Fort or camp. Decisions. Looks like fort it is, especially with Diablo and Vala showing mid right now. And that's going to be a fort going down in the bottom lane, as well as the cannon tower. And now I would expect to see ManaTapThat grab this bottom Impaler camp. They do indeed do that. Arthas grabbing their own Impaler camp back close to their their own base. That's going to be a second camp, actually the third camp now that I think about, going over to ManaTapThat. And the shrine spawning right next to him means they can set up and be ready to push in on this shrine almost immediately as soon as it spawns. We do have East Coast Feeders grabbing their top Fallen Shaman camp. I like that decision. It should be able to push top lane against nothing. But it looks like Gazlo may be setting up there to go ahead and clear that camp. ManaTapThat continues to clear the shrine, while East Coast Feeders is clearing the mid lane of all creeps. Ooh, this could be a rotation onto Gazlo. He might be getting caught out here. Tongue comes out and misses. Gazlo is able to safely get behind his wall top lane. And that's going to be a Mortar Punisher along with 3 Impalers pushing onto East Coast Feeders keep wall. I'm sorry, I said keep wall, but what I really meant was keep, because out comes Syndragosa, down goes the keep wall, and East Coast Feeders is really going to have a hard defense ahead of them with ManaTapThat pushing in as hard as they can. Dahaka already really low. Out comes the Lucio shields. Oh, Gul'dan taking a ton of damage, though, and getting blown up. Nice root and a kill on that Tassadar. Lucio going down as well. Thank you, John Cena, for those stuns. That's going to be a dead Dahaka. Diablo really low, Vala really low. Neither one of them can really stay and engage on this. Vala back behind the gate. Diablo getting John Cena. Vala right on the edge, but that's going to be game number 2 in our best of 3, going over to ManaTapThat.